So you've probably seen this. This is hashtag Save Siege post. It's been going all over social media, all over Twitter. I think Spoit wrote it. And it's creators, players, and fans all asking Ubisoft to fix Rainbow Six Siege. That's what they're asking. Even pros on stage are talking about it. I get where we're coming from. I get what we want. I don't think this list is the way to go about it. I read this list, and if you read it, to me, it reads like a list of gripes. This list is not a solution. This list does not present solutions. It is just a list of complaints. But I'm making this video because I believe this movement is good. I believe hashtag Save Siege is not a bad idea, but I don't think Siege needs saving. I think Siege needs accountability, not just from Ubisoft, but from us as well as the community. We all need accountability. And let's talk about the first section, being the anti-cheat section. We agree. Everybody agrees. Cheating sucks. Cheating is an epidemic online, period. Across every game, any game that's played now, cheating is a problem. And when you're dealing with cheating on a scale this large, what do you do to combat it? There's really not much you can do, and I think if anybody could, they would. If Ubisoft could combat cheaters and remove them, they would. But they can't. And just yelling at Ubisoft to fix the anti-cheat just kind of comes off as like, don't be sad. But you don't state how. Because you don't have the answers either. Neither do I, and neither do they. Because if they did, as I said, they probably would. I think where the frustration is mixed up is because Ubisoft isn't transparent about what's going on with the anti-cheat. We don't feel like as players, as a community, that we see any progress when it comes to anti-cheat, because we don't. They don't tell us what these security updates are. We get them probably once or twice a week. We have no idea what they're doing, and they don't want to tell us because the cheaters will use that information to better themselves, and they're cheat as well. But that also makes the normal players like us feel in the dark. That lack of transparency hurts when it comes to the community. I feel like they need to do something about that. I don't really know what solution that would be. I don't know what to present for that, because the cheating epidemic is a hard thing to tackle. Okay, it is an arms race, and it's going to be never ending until maybe there's real life consequences for cheating, not just in Ubisoft, but in every single game. Every game. Accountability here is hard because it means Ubisoft has to show progress to us that they're anti-cheat and they're actively trying to make their anti-cheat better, and that they are banning people. And then we as players have to use those tools and that data responsibly. But the problem is the cheaters will use it too. So that's the double-edged sword. And now we're going to get into the creator tools section. I think this section is just pure frustration because creators feel like they don't have enough tools to do what they want to do. And that's valid. However, I think tools like that shouldn't be just available for creators, should be available for everybody that plays Siege. I think if you want to do something like that, you mentioned Sandbox. I agree. Sandboxes are awesome. However, the sandbox idea I have, instead of just saying sandbox, give them an idea. And my idea is the sandbox we have now, like the firing range. Instead, why don't we do like map-wide sandboxes? You can open up Oregon, you can invite your 5 friends, and then you can get in as a spectator. You can reinforce walls. You can set up target dummies that can be crouching, prone, leaning, holding pixels, all that stuff. And then they can attack the site. And you can essentially set up scenarios for them. That's a cool way to learn, because then you can set people up on pixels and see if they notice. I think stuff like that, that's the sandbox option that I would like. I think something like that would be cool. That's what I would like to see. Instead of saying something like Siege can add community style maps where we can like make our own maps, you're asking for access to developer tools. That might be a little pushing the boundaries in my opinion. However, what if they could do stuff like that and like make maps and we got to vote on them? What if they just like made experimental maps, put them on the test server, told us they were there, which comes to the test incentives. We'll get to that later. And then you go play those maps and you tell them what they could change, what they could do. Imagine they put like beta tested maps on there that they want to add to rank in like a season, and we can go test them and we can tell them what we like and what we don't like. Stuff like that I think would be a good addition to the game. One thing I think Ubisoft is dropping the ball on too in this creator support section is they're not collaborating with people. When I say collaborating, I mean like Twitch rivals. Like imagine watching all your favorite content creators all face each other in like a pro league setting. Or imagine if Ubisoft hosted like a Halloween event, like a Sledge Myers event, but it was all just content creators that they invited. They got to sign up through the creator campaign or something. Stuff like that, I feel like Ubisoft is heavily dropping the ball on. They're just giving people Twitch drops and doing a thumbs up. They need to be more active with the creators, I feel. But at the same time, the accountability in this section for me with the creators means we need to use the platforms we have, the platforms you have, to lead the game into a better direction, instead of just trying to use what platform you have to push more money into your pockets. This whole creator tools section, I know you're frustrated. It just feels like we're trying to push tools so creators can make more money instead of trying to make the game better as a whole. We're trying to make it better for us instead of making it better for everybody. And then we get to the third section, which is gameplay and balance. We bring up ACOGs a lot in 1.5s. I don't think bringing stuff like that back is a good idea because that's a step backwards. We removed those. The game has moved past those. I feel like the game can only grow if we continue to go forward and keep doing stuff. People want things to stay in the past and stay the way they were. Like, people want to play Year 2 Siege again. I don't think Year 2 Siege would last in 2025, but that's just my opinion. That could be a bad opinion, but that's my opinion. I don't think that old janky Siege would last. When we talk about balance, they should take the data we get in the game and they should make updates during the season. Like they do these big updates at the beginning where they do, oh, we're going to add a gun and an op and a map and do these big balance updates. And then they do like maybe one more update that season and then they don't really touch anything. What if instead they did an update every 2 weeks or something, or 3 weeks, or when they noticed something was wrong? Like this season, you notice the DMRs are being crushed like Tube and a Rooney. What if they decided to do something a little bit to tweak those? Then suddenly the game feels like you're playing an entirely different game in the same season. It can almost keep things fresh just doing little tweak updates in the middle of a season rather than waiting until the next season to do a really big one. I can't disagree when you say that rank needs to value skill and not playtime, but you're missing one part in there: integrity, right? Matchmaking integrity. Do you think we would enjoy Rank 2.0 if we knew exactly how matchmaking worked, if we knew how hidden MMR worked, if we knew exactly what our hidden MMR was? I don't think so. But at the same time, telling them to revert it back to 1.0 is also a really big undertaking because they did make Siege X. Siege X is a new game. Having to revert to an old system from an old game, they might not even have the ability to do that anymore. I think at this point in time, being only maybe a season at most away from a new ranking system, I think we just need to be patient. I'm going to touch on 1v1, 2v2, and 5v5 real fast. I disagree. Ubisoft already has a hard time releasing a map a season. Imagine them having to make all new maps for 1v1 and 2v2, even just closing off parts of the map and making it balanced. Then they would have to have a whole separate team for balancing each of those game modes, and then you're splitting up the game player base even more. Instead of having long queues in 5v5, you're going to have even longer queues in 1v1, 2v2, and 5v5s. And then the last thing in this section that I want to address is telling them to not make decisions based off pick rate and win rate. That's just data. Are they supposed to make decisions based off of comfort and emotion or what we tell them? Or are they supposed to make decisions based on what the game is telling them? Because the game is data driven. It is data. It's pixels on a screen. So to me, that makes sense. Accountability here means they're going to make data-driven choices and not just emotional ones based on how we feel about the game and go, we want these back, and then they're going to do it. I don't think that's the way it should work. Accountability does have to be a two-way street with us and them. Now we get into the cosmetic section, okay? I'm not a big cosmetic person. I don't really care the way my character looks because all I can see is my hands. But chasing the trend of getting a new skin bundle every 2 weeks, the skins in Siege are already shallow, in my opinion. They already don't really have a lot of soul. And some of them do, but some of them don't. They would make them with even less soul if they released them every 2 weeks, right? Instead, what if they came up with ideas? Like imagine if they went, we have a Rocket Power skin, we have, I'm using 90 cartoon, Rocket Power skin, we have an Angry Beaver skin, and we have a Rocco's Modern Life skin. Which one would you guys want? And we as a community get to vote on it. You know how cool that would, you know how excited I would be? Because I'm voting for Rocket Power, no lie. But imagine And then imagine how excited you're going to be to see those skins come in. People are going to be disappointed because they may now have voted for them, but you're now involved in the skin, you're involved in the cosmetic process. That's going to make you think about it more. It's going to give you a little bit of control and say so, and you're going to be more excited when that stuff comes into the game. And then the one biggest thing they're missing with cosmetics is why don't we give more creators more skins? Why don't we collab with more creators to do more things in terms of cosmetics? I feel like we're missing the ball with that so much. You could do so many little things like give people hats or a hairstyle in a game or anything like that for a character they play. Like, where is Yo Boy Roy's castle skin? That's what I'm talking about. That would hype people up so much if you were to pay attention to creators like that and give them skins. That stuff, people would like that because that's collaboration. That's hyping somebody up. That's supporting your creators. And when it comes to this section, I feel like that's where the accountability lies. When I say Siege doesn't need saved. Siege doesn't need saved. It needs accountability. I'm making each section about that. In this section, accountability is driven by identity and collaboration with your community and not just making money off of us. And then we get to this section, which is player experience. And we're going to talk about the test server first, because in this section, I don't really disagree that the test server shouldn't be an afterthought. There should be incentives. But the thing is they need to test more things. They need to give you an incentive. Like, imagine if they had tested a new Christmas event, a new Halloween event, and then you went and tested it for them on their test server. You got like a little charm or something that just essentially shows that you tested that event for them. Or imagine this AI thing they put in that ruined chat, right? That's really hard to talk to each other, which is in this as well. Imagine if they put that in the test server last season and they figured out all these bugs and then they put it in this season. But it's stuff like that I don't understand why they're not doing. But maybe they'll think about it now that it's been said. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that we need to tell Ubisoft, and maybe they will listen. And talking on the moderation systems, we just need to let them improve a little bit. This is the first season we do have this AI voice thing, and it does suck. But it is the first season. Maybe next season it'll be a lot better. It just feels it's really, really rocky this season. I like the option to disable crossplay for PC, but the stability part didn't need to be in there. Just giving players control over crossplay toggles, telling us more about the connection and giving us more connection transparency overall, letting us change the region in game. I still don't think I can do that. I still think you have to go through the files to do that. Why? If it's an option, why can't it be in the game for me to be able to do that? Accountability in the player experience section means that Ubisoft has to communicate with us consistently. And I know that this whole Save Siege thing comes from a place of love. But without accountability, love turns into noise. It turns into senseless shouting, senseless arguments, and senseless complaining. The community, us creators, the players, we say we want Siege to succeed. But the one thing we don't do is take ownership. I understand that Ubisoft has made some bad decisions, but we have our own influence. We play the game. We are part of the community. We are the community. We have to own how we treat the game. We have to own that it's our people cheating. We have to own that it's us buying Zen and Cronus. We have to own that they had to add AI voice chat moderation because we're being shitty to each other. You know what I'm saying? We have to own that as well. We push all the blame onto them, but it's our fault too. We have to take responsibility for the state that Siege is in. And people seem to keep forgetting that. And once again, I don't want you creators to think I'm attacking you. I don't want you to think that. I don't want you to think I'm coming from a place of malice. Your heart was in the right place. Your heart is in the right place. But I don't think your thoughts were. I don't think Siege needs saving. I think Siege needs us to give a shit. And I think Ubisoft needs to give a shit about their game too. Because the only way we're ever going to hold Ubisoft accountable for making Siege a better game is if we hold ourselves accountable as well. Because we are the gamers. If you made it this far, man, I'm Obroto. Thank you for watching. I do make situations. I make TikToks. I make YouTube videos. I try my best. I stream a lot. Thank you for watching. once again. If you have any more solutions you would like to post, feel free to post them in the comments, whether it's TikTok, YouTube. I don't really care. I'll read either way. Thank you.